Hello, I hope you're all well. Today I wanted to speak about a small book that was written by one of the most popular New Thought authors, Christian D Larson. He is one of my favourite authors. He's written many books, including The Great Within, On the Heights, Pathway of Roses, Just Be Glad, and many more. You'll find them all here on YouTube. They are really good because how Christian D Larson writes, he writes with a repetitive style. So if you're listening on audiobook, he says the same things a few times throughout his books, so it sinks into the subconscious mind. And the most recent one I've been listening to is called Leave It to God, and he talks about having the impression of divine goodness at the forefront of your mind wherever you go, and that we have this loving, infinite, divine goodness or power of God or whatever you want to call it, source, your soul, your higher self. It's something that is, all loving and all good within ourselves. And he says that if we put that first above everything else, we can just leave things to God, and we can leave things to this power, and we can imagine handing things over to this power, and we can keep this power at the forefront of our minds all the time. And by doing so, we allow ourselves to be more in touch with this power, and we allow ourselves to surrender to something higher, and allow ourselves to surrender to love, essentially. And to know that this presence is a part of us. And I believe that when we get into flow state, that's really where we are aligning to. We are aligning to divine part of ourselves which can work through us, and that's why we get so much synchronicities and meaningful coincidences when we get more and more into this state, because we are resonating with the one, the all, whether you call it God or divine love or power of oneness or whatever you want to call it. We're coming into harmony with that frequency. And when we're coming into harmony with that frequency of pure light, goodness, love, unconditional love, we then start to embody that, and it can ripple outwards and come back to us as meaningful coincidences, synchronicities, things that we've been thinking about, things, that just show up on our journey without us even controlling anything, or as Joseph Rodriguez would say, without us even lifting a finger. And this short book is a 30-minute audio book. I'll link to it below. And it really talks about the fact that we have this power within us. We don't need to do anything really under our own strength. And this idea really intrigues me, because pretty much all of my life I have tried to do everything under my own strength. Everything through a force-based and controlled way, even though I had no real control over anything outside of my own mind and thoughts, my actions. I always tried to control and influence circumstances. But this method says, leave it to God. There's nothing you need to do. You can just take everything to God, whether it's your health, your finances, your relationships, whatever. And it says that, there's no need to overthink, be stressed, When you have that calm presence of mind, obviously it says in the Bible, be still and know that I am God. I am. And when we're still, we come into resonance and harmony with that poise, that power. And a lot of people essentially feel that this power is something elusive or outside of ourselves, or something that, how do we tap into it? It's almost like from what I'm reading anyway, it's almost like a letting go and letting something flow through you, just like a tap. And the more you relax your mind and body, the more that this stream can flow to you through inspiration, through ideas and insights. And then when you follow those insights, and this is just my own interpretation here, when you follow those insights and you get into inspiration, you get into your flow state, that's when synchronicities, people, circumstances, everything shows up on your journey, and it becomes more and more synchronistic. Because when we're in the state of trying to manipulate, control circumstances, we don't always see the synchronicities. But when we just relax and enjoy, we let go, we allow this presence to almost direct us as circumstances of our life. And we almost kind of say, well, our conscious mind doesn't know what is, the true loving path, or might not know the true loving path. And so when we let go, we give it to God or to the presence, we allow that presence to take over, if you like. And we can then start to see things in our experience show up, if we're open to it, of course, on our journey. And I like Christian D Larson. He's probably one of my favourites, along with Robert A. Russell. Those two are just really great, I think, because they're very practical. And I believe you don't have to be religious or even spiritual to apply these techniques. It's really about having, I suppose you have to be open-minded to something higher than our ego, our rational mind, our conscious self. We don't have to put labels on it, and there are different labels that we can attach to this experience. Flow state to one person might be, communing with God to somebody else. I think what fascinates me massively about this whole topic and this whole area is the practical demonstration of the use of our imagination, the use of surrendering, letting go, letting our mind be fluid. And when we let our mind be fluid and we completely surrender and just say, well, everything that happens is good. And when you have that mindset, and I'll talk about this in another video, then what if everything that happens has seeds of goodness in it? Well, we can let go, right? We can relax. We can give it to God. It's only when we're in fear that we try and control, right? But what if it was all love? Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have a listen to the audiobook. I'll link it below, as I say, and let me know your thoughts.